People reportedly lost their lives over land dispute in Madat station of Nasarawa State as Governor Abdullahi Sule takes the message of non-violence approach to the communities in settling issues capable of undermining peaceful coexistence. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Of 1GB and Iga in Madat station of Agidi fortunate and painful. He says government will ensure full-scale investigations to unravel the remote and immediate cause of the crisis with a view to avert similar situation in the future. Governor Sule says government peace effort has greatly reduced incidences of social unrest and assured of effective collaboration with communities to sustain the effort. District and village heads from the affected communities appreciate government for the commitment to peace and promise to expose undesirable elements in their domains. From Madat Station in Agidi Development Area, I am Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force says its sustained onslaught against remnants of the Islamic State of West Africa province ISWAP terrorists in the northeast of the country is yielding results with the destruction of another ISWAP hideout. In a statement by NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibukunle Daramola, the airstrike was conducted by the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole on 4th October 2019 after persistent intelligence surveillance revealed that the settlement was being used as a staging area from where the terrorists launched attacks against troops. Consequently, the Air Task Force dispatched its aircraft to attack identified compounds within the settlement, which led to the destruction of some structures as well as the killing of several terrorists. Now, the nation's military is increasing its numerical strength to completely face any security challenges as the Nigerian Defense Academy passes out another set of cadets in Kaduna State. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikum reports.
Battalion Senior Officer Owarwe Tunde, the overall winner, and 172 cadets of the 66 Regular Coast Army, 90 Nigerian Navy cadets and 88 Nigerian Air Force cadets for the 67 Regular Coast, as well as 272 cadets of 45 Short Service Coast in a practical display of proficiency, dexterity, and resolve to key into the presidential drive for a secured and prosperous country.
I'm highly impressed. Very well rehearsed parade, very competent and lively cadets, whom I'm sure will be useful to us in the battlefield in Northeast and other operational areas.
While acknowledging Nigerian Defense Academy's transformation both in military and academic excellence, President Muhammadu Buhari in his message expressed confidence in the ability of the commissioned cadets to add value to national security.
Commander-in-Chief has directed them to really wake up and meet the challenges of the service.
Second Lieutenant Owarwe Tunde and colleagues will be deployed to various formations for national service and as future leaders in the Nigerian military. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachkum, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, has started the enforcement on tricycles and motorcycles without number plates and riders without Class A license on the 2nd of October 2019 with the arrest of 1,750 violators in 18 states. A statement by BC Kazim, the Public Education Officer of the FRSC, this was achieved in collaboration with the Nigerian Police Force, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and other law enforcement agencies. The Corps Marshal, Boboye Oyemi, however, appealed to all tricycle and motorcycle operators to duly register to avoid arrest. You're watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA, and our show tonight is on colonial heritage and nation building, 59 years as a sovereign nation. Stay with us. I'll be right back after the break with correspondence report.
Hey, bro, what's up, man? Wait. Sure, son, I want the bicycle.
Enjoy more data than before on Airtel Home Broadband. Get up to 160 gigabytes on routers with 25,000 naira and 55 gigabytes on Airtel MiFi's with 12,000 naira. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by Airtel, the smartphone network.
When you wake up in the morning, before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
We always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. So in our family, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Breakfast time.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo. Oga Lekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We Sabi say Peking go crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Serie A and La Liga matches live. Go for GoTV Max.
Let's come together as we celebrate the uniqueness of our cultural diversity, showcase our creativity and ingenuity. It's the National Festival for Arts and Culture, NAFEST 2019, in the ancient city of Benin, Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation. Theme, our royalty, our pride. Holding 19th through 26th October 2019. Highlights will include drama, children poetry performance, essay writing competition, crafts competition, indigenous cuisine, traditional wrestling, indigenous fabrics in royal apparel, cultural quiz competition, board games, and lots more. Oh yes, it's the National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST 2019, Edo State, Nigeria, holding 19th to 26th October 2019. We are celebrating our heritage. Otumba Olusegun Unshere, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, announcer.
Welcome to Adeleke University, a faith-based learning institution located in the serene and historic town of Ede, Osun State, Nigeria, running on the well-thought vision of its founding fathers to improve lives and society. The institution offers affordable and quality education. We are currently offering admission into our faculties of science, engineering, law, and art. We are also offering entry into the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences and the Faculty of Business and Social Science. Our College of Postgraduate Studies offers you the chance to earn your master's and doctorate's degree in over 30 disciplines. For more inquiries, please visit www.adelikeuniversity.edu.ng. You can also call 0806-820-2021. Adeleke University, education, excellence, character.
All right, you're welcome back. Now let's begin this segment from the People's Paradise. That's Calabar in Cross River State, because Calabar has a significant role in the history of Nigeria. And Archibong Bassi highlights some of the prominent features which predates Nigeria's independence.
Calabar, the capital city of Cross River State, was named Calabar by the Spanish on September 10, 1884. The ancient city, once served as the seat of government of the Niger Coast Protectorate, effectively the headquarters of modern-day Nigeria. Due to her early role in international trade and colonial administration, Calabar played host to the first public general hospital in Nigeria, known as the St. Margaret's Hospital, the oldest post office, one of the first 2 botanical gardens in the country, the oldest social club in Nigeria, known as African Club, and the oldest secondary school in eastern Nigeria, the Hope Waddell Trading Institution, founded in 1895, which produced Nigeria's first president, Nnamdi Azikiwe. Prominent figures in the history of Calabar include Louis Edate, First Inspector General of Police, Margaret Ekpo, First Woman Special Member in Nigeria's Eastern House of Chiefs, the Colonial Administrative Building, which now accommodates relics as a national museum, is of note. Being a city of first in many fronts, successive administrations added to the history by building tourism to international dimensions. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
Now, thank you, Archibong. From Calabar, we take you to the confluent city of Lokoja in Kogi State, where the seat of power is still called the Lord Lugard House. That explains a lot about the colonial presence in the state. And our correspondent Solomon Ayedehe takes us down memory lane.
The British exploration of the River Niger, which began in the early 18th century, first by Mungo Park, the Landa brothers, and Lord Lugard, brought to the fore the uniqueness of Lokoja in the historical and political development of Nigeria. Its strategic location as the confluent city of rivers Niger and Benue, observers say, must have inspired Lord Lugard's decision to make Lokoja the administrative headquarters of the Northern Protectorate before the amalgamation more than a century ago. The numerous colonial and historic relics that are bound in Lokoja underscore the city's historic and political relevance to Nigeria. They include the spot where the Royal Niger Company flag was lowered and the Union Jack flag hoisted in January 1st, 1900. The first primary school in northern Nigeria. Others are Lord Lugard's Rest House on Mount Patti, the World War Cenotaph, and the European cemeteries, accounting for about 600 graves.
The colonial masters were moving gradually. They stopped at some points, but Lokoja became the seat. Lord Lugard had his office here in Lokoja.
Important as they are, not many of the relics have been properly preserved, while only 4 have been declared as national monuments. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehe, NTA News.
Thank you indeed, Solomon. We appreciate that reporting. And of course, we are moving next to other relics and monuments, and it's to Enugu particularly, where monuments and relics are obvious. The capital of the defunct eastern region, and the Kelechi Ochiagha, visited some historical sites in the city and now sent us this report.
A major incentive for colonial rule in Nigeria was her natural resources and wealth hidden in her soil, including large deposits of minerals. Among the natural resources was coal, which was first discovered in Nigeria in 1901 at the Udi Ridge in Enugu by a British mines engineer, Albert Kitson. Over time, other mines sprang up in the region, which became the modern-day Enugu state.
If you go to the Enugu Secretariat, the state secretariat, you will discover that the brick house there will still outlive the one that was just recently constructed. Why can we not creatively put this to use?
And now there is an improvement. And when I say an improvement, it's not an improvement of individual leaders. It's an improvement in the citizenry awareness.
Enugu, the coal city state, has some monumental structures erected by the colonial administrators, such as Old Eastern Region Governors Lodge, Old PWD State Secretariat, Old Eastern House of Assembly Complex, residential quarters for workers, among others. Railway quarters at Asata, Hokbara and Onyama mine sites, Milking Hill Road are also some of such relics.
Since they left, dilapidation, nothing is going on again. The quarters are deteriorating every day.
If we preserve them well, they can create job, because for people to maintain the monuments and then our younger ones to look at them and get inspiration to create something.
It is expected that the monumental structures by the colonial masters should be maintained towards the development of the country. In Enugu, Kelechi Ochiagha, NTA News.
In Lagos, most of the post-independent monuments left behind by the British colonial masters are still memories to behold. This is what Dotu Oguyemi tells us as he embarks on sightseeing at the Center of Excellence.
Was the Tafawa Balewa Square. This 14.5-acre ceremonial ground was originally called Racecourse. Hence, statues of horses welcome all visitors. This historic landmark plays host to a series of events all year round. Next was Broad Street, which is just a stone throw from the Tafawa Balewa Square, which is also opposite Marina Street and home to the iconic Cathedral Church of Christ. Back to Broad Street. This serene environment has a large number of pristine pre-colonial monuments, among them the old post office, old federal secretariat, and the 6-story building which became an annex of the secretariat. The old prison yard, however, has transformed into Freedom Park. Residents, however, want government to tap into the tourism potential of these structures.
Look at that old secretariat. Why I'm saying that former justice. It's old building. Please, government look for something to do about it. I don't believe that the federal government has enough resources to look after these national monuments.
And what would a tour of monuments be without the mention of Badagry or the National Museum, both housing memories too numerous to mention and can only be better experienced by a visit. My last stop was the Lagos terminus at Ido, which was the terminus of commuters on the flagship ride from Lagos to Kano. With the development, however, of the standard gauge nearing completion, the good old days might soon be forgotten, but the foundation of these monuments will remain indelible in the history books of Nigeria. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
Yes, the colonial masters left long ago, but their footprints are indelible in the city of Benin. Obehi Otobo Apresai takes a ride around the city and neighboring towns and reports that the colonial legacies are blessings to the state.
History dates the Benin Kingdom to the 1400s. Well before the British invasion, the empire was a great entity, extensive, strong in war and peace.
Based on our rich history, the Beninese boast of their own relics, their own civilization prior to the advent of these colonialists.
The empire's long history has naturally left behind a huge trail of relics. For example, the actual spot in Giligili, from where British soldiers ferried Oba Overome into exile in Calabar, still stands out. So also is the tomb of the acting consul James Philip, who was killed for entering Benin in violation of Benin traditional protocols. Other administrative and religious structures of old have also survived into present day as reminders of a glorious past.
Very important to make this Giligili a tourist center. We have a space. We have already cleared the place, but it is finance, it is the money to develop it. And if we develop it, many people will come.
And from Delta State, Tessie Coker reports that key players want more to be done to preserve footprints from our past, not merely in tribute to posterity, but also as a means of creating new income streams from tourism.
The Landabras, they came from Busa, New Busa, trying to find the river, the mat to the sea, so that they can be approaching the south from the sea. And today, that is a monument in Delta State.
That's why we have relics like the Mango Park era. The very first building is still holding on, although built on wood.
Culture and history shape citizens' imagination and will continue to be a source of pride and sustenance. The National Festival for Arts and Culture is therefore a welcome event to showcase cultural heritage.
All right, the famous amalgamation of the southern and northern protectorates in 1914 actually took place in Zungeru. But more than 100 years of this once colonial capital of northern Nigeria, what is the situation of the present-day Zungeru? Dauda Mohammed was in the ancient town.
Zungeru in Wushishi local government area is situated about 60 kilometers from Minna, the capital of Niger State. The first Governor General of Northern Nigeria, Sir Frederick Lugard, in 1902 picked Zungeru as the colonial administrative capital and transformed the area from a few hamlets to a modern town. Sir Frederick Lugard ensured the construction of the railway system, schools, churches, a barracks for the West African Frontier Forces and other amenities, making it a small London in northern Nigeria. Until the movement of the colonial administration to Kaduna in 1916, Zungeru had played a prominent role which saw to the amalgamation of southern and northern protectorates in the town. However, the rich history and historical sites of the town have gradually faded and forgotten, despite the number of prominent Nigerians born in the town, like former Senate President David Mark, Chief Odumegu Ojukwu, and the most prominent of all, Chief Nnamdi Azikiwe, the first president of Nigeria, though efforts were made to honor him in the past. In 1991, prominent Nigerians, including then military president General Ibrahim Babangida, came to Minna in Niger State to conceive a plan to honor Nigeria's first civilian president, President Nnamdi Azikiwe, through an edifice that will serve as a tourist attraction for those that want to come and see where he was born. 28 years later, this is what is left of the building, still uncompleted, overgrown with weeds, and overtaken by reptiles. Zungeru also hosts a military cemetery of historical significance, the Amalgamation Hall, where a document for the amalgamation was signed. Governor General's mess and swimming pool are still visible. Meeting hall, separation bridge, and other historical landmarks that have been neglected but can be developed into tourist sites.
Lots of relics are there abandoned, which I believe, if proved upon by the state government, will attract visitors to the state.
His birthplace is there. Up to now, nothing has been done.
This administration has commissioned a consultant, to look at, the whole of Zungeru and its landscape, and bring a full, historical perspective, the antecedents, the artifacts together.
The seeming lack of development of its historical sites has led to the statement that Zungeru, the forgotten capital of northern Nigeria. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Well, a lot of history from those reports. And of course, tonight we have the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Ronshere, in the studio. He's going to, of course, give us different perspectives to what we have watched this evening, but that will be after the break.
Now what is it? Emeka, drive the limousine Bugatti, come inside now. Waiting glow 200 naira recharge card for me. 200 naira.
Just recharge 200 naira for 1 day, and you say fit follow win for the hundreds and hundreds of heavy prizes like a can of pepper, industrial sewing machine, grinding machine, and generator. Glow, my own done better.
My grinder will go win. Now here I go put up. Make that.
Hey, make una no go recharge you na Glow. I don't win generator. And here, now myself. Oh.
The more you recharge, the more your chance, the better.
Unlimited. Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo, Ogalekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Serie A and La Liga matches live. Go for GoTV Max.
It don't reach 50 years now. When that program, when they call Village Headmaster begin. None of the program now. That program when all of now they run, go home, go look for my television.
I want you now to formally tender your apology to Headmaster Ali for causing him so much embarrassment.
Now 50 years now. So because of that, we won't get big party. Now me, I'm a body invite you now. And my belly just is sweet. Because I don't say all those people they drink my pami. Then go come drink the tombo again. And me, radio jam they call you now. You not forget it.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Now, we now have the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Ransire. So you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so Nigeria has just celebrated the 59th year of existence, and of course, it was still, involved in a more national journey. How would you relate what is on ground in the country vis-a-vis development and what you watched, some of those relics, and heritage you watched, from our reporters?
Karen, let me first and foremost, I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank NTA for taking this topic at this very crucial time in our life. Because a lot of us don't even know the history of our country. And it's difficult for us to appreciate where we're coming from, where we're going, and where we intend to get to. What I've seen today in the program, in the report, it's what we've been discussing for a very long time. A lot of facilities are in this country. But first and foremost, let's get something clear. What is heritage? There are three types of heritage which we must know as a people. But based on the way you put it, I want to celebrate us as a people for the 59th anniversary. But however, there are three main types of heritage. We have the cultural heritage, the natural heritage, and the mixed cultural heritage. Now, we have a lot to showcase to the world. I have been saying it. The foreigners we call in tourists that come to our country or that intend to come to our country, they're not coming to see the plastic things. They want to see the natural things in Nigeria, in Africa. You see some of the buildings you saw there, they are not up to the ones that we had in Dubai, for instance. And they are selling it on a daily basis. Traffic going there. Most of our own, of the heritage properties, are not being preserved. Mm-hmm. So you need to preserve them. You need to promote them. You need to market them. Until this moment, we're chatting on this matter. A lot of them are just being abandoned. So we need to come to terms with what we call seed money to put them. And this will create a lot of jobs. This will open up a lot of industry for us, creative industry, and reduce crime.
Yes, having listened to some of the respondents in some of the reports. Some are talking about, developing those relics as maybe tourism attraction and what have you. The Zungeru situation is mind-boggling, because we saw the level of dilapidation we saw in some structures, that were established then. Now, how can you make those relics to become attractive? What are the practical things that could be done? Is it by the federal government or state government, or of course, the DG of the National Council for Arts and Culture?
First, collaboration. The federal government alone won't do it. The state, the local government, and our agencies need to come together. Look at what happened to Yankari. That was well maintained. Everybody was going to Yankari from all over the world. Look at the Enugu Fishing Festival. But all of a sudden, it was being returned or taken over by a small community who couldn't manage it. So we're paying dearly for what we've not done, we needed to have done. I'll give you a quick example. Mary's Lensol's grave, or tomb, is in Calabar. A lot of foreigners want to come and see it. Mango Park. A lot of people want to come and see it in Lokoja. But up till today, there hasn't been any effort to put them as a marketing tool of creating jobs, of making some money back to the country. So we need to sit down and agree, what do we do? And that is the disconnection of culture and tourism.
Now, who is responsible for sensitizing, the government organs or individuals or maybe business community that would develop interest in those relics? That is the one point, because these relics have been abandoned for a very long time.
Yes.
I'm not saying that Zungeru was too bad, but then if you could see that was the last report that we saw. You also look at what happened in Lagos, the reports we saw from Lagos, Lokoja, for instance, even Calabar. Right. So who will ignite this sensitization for some authorities to begin to think in that direction?
You see, we have to look at two types of heritage again, in terms of tangible and intangible. The tangible are the things you can see physically, items like the artworks, the physical lyrics, iconics, etc. The intangible are the intellectual property. So we have to sit down and define. But unfortunately, most of the people in the state who manage some of these things have no knowledge about them. So if you don't have knowledge, you cannot give what you don't have. You can only give what you have. So what I've been doing, thank God, NTA has been very supportive, is to use NAFES to reawaken our consciousness as a people. Every state we go now, we look for the iconic objects in that state and bring them out. The best we can do is to engage the state government. State government, 1, 2, 3, I have always said it, Karen, if we get this sector right, crime will reduce in this country. Unemployment will reduce in this country. And that's why on this program, I want to commend and thank the Central Bank Governor for the financial facilities being given to the creative sector. In the next 1 or 2 years, if we get it right and get it to the right people, there will be less tension in the country. Every country of the world brings out its best. Karen, I will start with India. India has film and culture. Dubai now have culture and artificial tourism. Italy is also using part of sports, which South African is in sport. What we need to do is, no matter how you do it, Kerry, no matter what you say, if only one sector gets it right, it can never work. It's a teamwork. All of us must come together. Either there's a setup involving the state, the local government, the agencies, and and we meet at a melting point.
That's why I asked the question, who will start this sensitization? Because a country that has lost touch with its past actually is usually viewed as a country without a future. Now, who will start this? Because these monuments we're talking about are domiciled in different states of the country.
Absolutely.
And of course, they're under the auspices of the governors, local governments, as the case may be. So, do you intend, as the DG of Arts and Culture, to start the move?
Yes, there's a document, and the Honorable Minister has given a full endorsement. And thank God today, we have a man like Rochas Okorocha in Senate, Prince Iema in the House. We're going to work with them. What is the disconnection in all of this? We have not been able to identify what we need. Even we know what we need, National Assembly give us the backing. We'll go out for it, but we cannot go out without a legislative backing.
Okay, now away from the monuments and of course the relics that we saw, we're talking about Western education. You know, healthcare service that came along, you know, with the colonial masters. How have we fared, you know, in ensuring improvement, especially in Western education, which of course is the hallmark of whatever foundation that you want to lay?
Carrie, let's correct something today. Education is not only going to the university. Travel to most part of the world.
I'm talking about Western
Yes, I know. Travel to most part of the world. Some people have never heard of BSc before. They only have diploma. We must reduce this attitude of Western education and imbibe in individual creativity. That will change the difference in this country. We have too much attached theoretical education acceptance. Somebody come and give you a certificate, a PhD. PhD on what? He has not practically practiced what he's carrying PhD on, or master's or first degree. Why don't such person go for teachers education, NCE, and be good?
And again, technical education.
Yes, technical
where you can develop skills.
Absolutely. But you remember there was a time the HND students were looked down upon to the BSc and BA. Why? Because we are giving the wrong priority out. You see, I continue to say this. There is only one strategy to improve any part of the world, every country. It's called the SWOT analysis. Strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. Enough of us celebrating our weaknesses. Every part of the world have its own Boko Haram. We must not be drawn back. Every part of the world has its own disadvantages, but they promote and celebrate their strength, which is what is missing in us. We have things that are very good in us. 2 Nigerians have just discovered the best software. 2 software now. One of them is from Nasarawa State, the other one is from Ebonyi State. Nobody is promoting them. So these are some of the things we need to sit down and say, what is right for us? We shouldn't capitalize too much on the Western education, which of course is a disadvantage to us as of today.
Disadvantage?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what about our own indigenous education? How far have we gone to also educate ourselves, apart from Western education? The normal education that we've had is not gotten from the four walls of the school, right? But normal education as Africans, we've had our skills, we had our own, technology. But even today, we don't even have our local technology anymore.
Yeah. The reason is simple. We don't believe in ourselves. Kerry, we don't believe in ourselves. If you bring 2 products out today, they will tell you because it's locally made, it's inferior.
1 or 2 words, what can we do about it to reverse the trend?
Well, what we need to do is to come back home and tell ourselves the bitter truth. And the truth is, we must come back and start to believe in ourselves, make the best of ourselves. Go to any function today, everybody is wearing suits. We have sent the whole money abroad. Everybody believe in the Western culture, which we have to change.
Yes.
And that's part of my strategy.
Yes, they've really exerted a lot of influence, and people are beginning to think the Western direction in all matters.
Yeah.
Right? And that wouldn't go well for a nation. At this point, I'd like to thank you. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. The DG of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun Ronsewo, has been our guest tonight on Weekend Fire. Okay, now we'll move on. The All Progressives Congress has reacted to former President Goodluck Jonathan's comment to former British Prime Minister David Cameron's new book, For the Record, which was recently published, in which the Johnson administration is accused of corruption and rejecting the help of the British government in rescuing the 276 Chibok schoolgirls who were kidnapped on April 14, 2014 as baseless. The party's National Publicity Secretary Lanre Oniru, in a statement, says the Chibok schoolgirls' abduction is not a story to deny, as it is already part of national history, adding that denying or arguing against the truth is not going to change anything at this stage. The party notes that what is important now is the former President Jonathan explaining to the families of the abducted schoolgirls why, as a president, he did nothing for 2 weeks after the Chibok abductions and still refuses to take responsibility for the tragedy up to now. The statement acknowledged the current administration's reactions and actions after the similar and unfortunate Dapchi schoolgirls kidnapping as a pointer to how a responsive government should act. Now it's time for sports.
A ray of hope came for Team Nigeria at the IAAF World Athletics Championship in Doha on Saturday, when Eze Brume qualified for the final of the women's long jump. She placed first in Group A, comprising 16 countries, with a jump of 6.89 meters. The final comes up on Sunday. Also, Nigerian's Tobi Amuson qualified for the semi-final of the women's 100 meters hurdle in 12.48 seconds. Meanwhile, Nigeria's 4x400 women's relay team failed to progress beyond the first heat. In the West African Football Union classification game decided, Nigeria lost 3-2 via penalties to Cape Verde after a 1-1 regulation scoreline. The Super Falcons of Nigeria and their counterpart from Cote d'Ivoire will on Monday at the Agege Township Stadium, Lagos, engage each other in the second leg of the second round 2020 Olympic qualifiers. The Super Falcons, who are the current African champions, forced the Cote d'Ivoire ladies to a goalless draw in the first leg of the qualifiers in Abidjan on Thursday. In another development, the final phase of the Season 2 Prudent Energy Premier Handball League, which kicks off Saturday in Lagos, saw defenders of Civil Defence triumphed over Kada Stars 27-20 in the opening game, while Koa shooters of the Nigerian Army lost 20-25 to Kano Pillars.
We slept around 5 a.m. so now we came out to play match around 8:30. You see there is fatigue. From next match you see the best of Kano Pillars.
The tactical discipline of the ball, that is why we lost the game.
Everybody has prepared, so I expect a lot of fireworks and a lot of upset from the second phase.
In the female category, Safety Babes of Road Safety walked over Abia Valiant, while Edo Dynamos defeated Desert Queens of Katsina 33-16. With sports updates, Olumide Guntola, NT News.
And now a quick check on Sunday's weather. And that's our program for today. We thank you for watching and goodbye.